नमस्कार दोस्तों, माय नेम इज़ प्रमोद जैन. फाइनेंस is my profession and spreading awareness about work-life balance among all is my passion. Today I am going to discuss in this session about earning per share, EPS. EPS, friends, is a very important key performance indicator of any business. EPS से मालूम पड़ता है कि कंपनी की परफॉर्मेंस कैसी है. EPS can help you in deciding or in selecting a company for investment. EPS will decide, EPS will give you an idea as to in which direction this company is going. What is EPS and how to calculate EPS? What are the variations of EPS? How and why EPS is such a critical number? So first of all, friends, EPS is earning per share. Earning per share. And how to calculate earning per share, EPS, for any company? It is simply divided by the earning after tax or net profit or net income or profit after tax. So dividing the figure of earnings after tax by the number of outstanding shares on the date of the balance sheet of that company will give you your earning per share for that company. Now, how to figure out whether this EPS is a good EPS? How to figure it out? By looking at this EPS, whether this company has done well or this company has not done well. So for figuring out as to how the company has done from the earning per share, there are 4 things that you can do. Number 1, compare the EPS of this company with the EPS of its peers or its competitors. If you find that the EPS of this company is more than the EPS of its competitors, apparently this company has done better than its competitors. That means this company's performance is good. That means this company is worth making investment. Number 2, you can also compare the EPS with the industry average. And many of these business associations for different industries, they bring out the industry norms. So you can compare the EPS of this company with the industry norm. And if you realize that the EPS of this company is better than the industry norm, that means you can assume that this company has done well vis-a-vis the industry as a whole. Number 3, how to figure out as to whether this EPS is good, or how to figure out based on the EPS whether how this company has done in the current year. So compare the EPS of the current year with the EPS of the last year. So if you see that the EPS of this year is improved over the last year, that means it's an indication that this company has done better in the current year than the last year, and that means the company is performing better, and hence this company can be considered for investment. And number 4, of course, that information may not be available to you as an outsider, but internally how the companies will figure out from the EPS. So they would also they will compare the EPS of the company with the EPS of the budgeted or EPS of the company. And if they see that the EPS of the actual EPS is better than the budgeted EPS, that means this company has done better in the current year. And if the EPS of the current year is less than the budgeted figure, that means company's performance during the current year has gone down vis-a-vis the budget. So this is how you will be able to figure out the performance of the company, and you will be able to take a decision as to whether to invest in that company or not to invest in that company. So if the EPS of a company is declining year after year, that's a bad sign. If the EPS of a company is increasing year after year, that's a good sign. So this is how you will calculate the EPS and come to a conclusion about the performance of a company. Here friends, I would also like to mention that the methodology of calculating EPS will vary in case of a company which also has a preference share capital. So in case if a company has a preference share capital, then your methodology of calculating EPS will be slightly different. What is going to be the difference? The difference is going to be from the figure of profit after tax, first you will minus the amount of dividend payable on the preference share capital. And this figure you will divide by the number of equity shares to arrive at the figure of earning per share in case of a company which also has a preference share capital. And why do you deduct the dividend from the figure of profit after tax for arriving at the EPS of this company which is having a preference share capital? That is because in case if a company has a preference share capital, then the preference shareholders have the first right to be paid the dividend. Only after dividend is paid to them, then whatever remains out of that, company can decide to pay dividend to the equity shareholders. Now, what is the relationship between the earning per share of a company and the wealth of the shareholders? And please remember, there is not only a relationship between the EPS and the wealth of the shareholders, there is also a direct relationship between the EPS and the bonuses that will be paid to the chief executives or the top executives of a company. How and why? So first of all, let's understand what is the relationship between the EPS and the wealth of the shareholders. I am sure those of you who have been actively investing in the shares of different companies and also observing, keeping a track of the capital market, you would have noticed that whenever a company announces its quarterly result, and in case if in the quarterly result the earning per share has improved vis-a-vis the last quarter, you would see that the market price of this company's share would have increased on the stock market. And please understand, if the market price of the company's share has increased on the stock market, it means what? It means by default, the wealth of the shareholders has also increased in the same proportion as the market price of the share of the company has increased. Now, a question that must be coming to your mind, that is all right, but how does it connect or how does it relate with the bonuses that are paid to the top executives of the company? Please remember, the top managements of all the companies across the globe are driven by one single figure. And what is that one single figure? That one single figure is earning per share. And why that number is the driver for the top management or top executives of the company? Because there is a direct linkage between the EPS of a company and the amount of bonuses that will be paid to these top executives. And why? And that is because if the earning per share of a company goes up, the wealth of the shareholders also go up. And when the wealth of the shareholders go up, obviously they feel happy. And when they feel happy, they will obviously pay higher bonuses to the top executives, because these top executives are helping the shareholders of the company, owners of the company, maximize their wealth. And that is how the earning per share, friends, please remember, is also connected with the bonuses that are paid to the top executives of a company. Can earning per share also be used to estimate as to what may be the likely price of that company's share? And the answer is yes. The answer is yes. So if you want to find out, but remember, these are all approximate measures. They will not give you a precise number, but they will give you approximate number which you can use for the purpose of decision making. So say for example, earning per share in conjunction with the PE multiple of that industry to which this company belongs can give you an idea as to what is the likely price of this company's share going forward. Say for example, the P multiple of the industry is 10. P multiple of the industry is 10 and the earning per share of this company is 20. So 20, that is earning per share, into 10, that is P multiple, is equal to 200. That means going by the interplay of earning per share and PE multiple, going forward, this company's price must be around 200 rupees. So this is the value, this is the price, the likely price of company's share that you are arriving with the interplay of earning per share and the PE multiple of the industry. How do you interpret this number for the purpose of decision making? So you have arrived at the figure of 200 rupees based on this computation. If you notice that the current market price on the stock market of this company is 150 rupees, it means what? It means, going by this calculation, the company's share currently is underpriced. That means it has the potential of increasing to about 200 rupees. Currently it is traded at 150 rupees. That means you have a possibility of making a gain of 50 rupees or thereabout. So the currently the share of the company is underpriced. So what should you do in a situation like this as an investor in the share market? You can purchase this share at 150, which is the current price, hold it, wait for some time, and going by these calculations, there is a possibility that the market price of this company's share will move up to about 200 rupees, and that time you can dispose it off and make a gain of about 50 rupees. What it happens the other way around? Meaning what? Meaning you have arrived at the figure of 200 rupees by multiplying the earning per share of the company with the industry PE multiple of 200 rupees. But if you notice that the share of this company is currently trading on the stock market at a price of 230 rupees, that means what? That means currently the share of this company is overpriced. The fair value using the PE multiple and the earning per share, the fair value of the share of the company comes to 200 rupees. It is currently trading at 230 rupees. That means what? That means the share is overpriced. That means as a player in the share market, what should you do? In case if you are holding shares of this company, what you should do? You should simply get out of this share, sell it off at 230 rupees before it comes down to its fair value of about 200 rupees. And that is how you can make a clean profit of 30 rupees, because you sell it off today. When the price comes down to 200 rupees, you can re-enter at that time, and this is how you make a profit of 30 rupees. So friends, this is how the earning per share is used or can be used for the purpose of deciding as to how is the performance of the company is, how the earning per share helps the shareholders maximize their wealth, how the earning per share is used by the owners of the company in deciding the amount of bonuses that they pay to the top executives, and how the earning per share can also be used for the purpose of finding out whether share of a company is underpriced or overpriced. And this is the beauty and significance of the earning per share. Thank you so much. Soon we will meet again with another topic from the domain of finance, which I am sure will definitely going to help you to come to better understanding, better conclusion, better decision making in the capital market. Thank you so much. Thank you.